Hi, this is Chris with Western Colloid. Today we're going to be covering some common field repairs. We have loose laps, wrinkles in the sheet, rocks under the sheet, things like that. So I'm going to be taking you through how we go about repairing those and what you can do to get the roof ready for the acrylic top coat. We're out here on a roof. They're doing a SM1P. If you look right here, there's a little rock under the sheet that's caused some tenting. This is something that you got to kind of watch for as you're going about the installation of the roof. All through here looks pretty good. The sheet's nice and tight. The laps are all sealed in real nice. This is ready. If you look the sheet, a lot of the polyester showing. These guys did a really good job of brooming this. You don't want to over broom. One pass each half should be sufficient. Now, as you're brooming, we're coming into an area now that has some problems. This one has some wrinkles. So when you come across an area like this, it shows me a couple of things. One, the roller got a little crooked when he was setting the sheet. And two, the broomer did his job a little too quickly. So this could have been avoided when the sheet was set. Had we bent down and gave the sheet a little tug and pulled these wrinkles out before we brought the broom through there, this would have been avoided. In addition, after the broom had been brought through and we recognized that these wrinkles are present, while the emulsion is still wet, before it has a chance to dry, we can go in and manually pull the sheet out, run the broom through here a couple of times and smooth all these wrinkles out. That didn't happen in this case, so now we have to go about the post repair prior to the acrylic being put on. So I have a couple of different wrinkles. This one right here is pretty bad. If you look, there's a lot of air in this sheet. This wrinkle is also gonna buck water, gonna create a little mini pond here, and that's not gonna be okay. So we're gonna have to cut this one out entirely and then do a field repair on it. We have a couple of other smaller wrinkles in this area that what we call tight wrinkles, that there's not air under there, but it's a wrinkle in the sheet. So we can fix those generally with just mastic alone. So I'm gonna handle this right now, do the work necessary to get this area ready for the next step.
The next day or 2 days later, we can email.
So this wrinkle is going to need to be cut out. I'm just using a straight blade, and I'm going to cut along both edges of this.
I'm not even a roofer, and I found this already, and look at here.
Now you can see the amount of effort that it takes. The effort it would have taken on the front end would have been almost nothing. So now I'm in this situation where I'm having to do a multi-step process. I'm having to break a blade out, cut into the roof, cut through our waterproof membrane. All of this can be avoided by just doing a little bit of quality control while you're installing the roof. And it's okay to fall back after you've done a run or two and look at some of the stuff you just did. If you see something like this while the roof is still wet, you can fix it then. But here's where we are now. So because I put a cut in the sheet, now this is going to require a 3-course. So I'm going to use my glove, spread mastic, about 7 inches wide, enough to seal my whole polyester roll in. Don't want to build it up too much. I don't want to make a new dam by applying too much, but get enough mastic down that you can set your polyester roll into. So if you notice, I'm starting from the middle and working out. If you start from the end, but you're gonna grab the sheet. So start from the middle and work out. Put a couple wrinkles in this one. So I'm gonna pull them out. So I got that flattened out real nice. That's covered. I have another little tight wrinkle right here that I'm going to go ahead and cover with a little bit of mastic. And then this tight wrinkle right here also. Now those aren't wrinkles with air in them. They're not really sticking up too high, so I'm going to fix that with mastic alone. This other one was going to buck water, going to be a problem, so we went ahead and cut that guy out. I'm going to come back now that I got all my polyester set that I want, and I'm going to use a chip brush just to smooth out the roof. I'm a little bit light on my top coat. And the top coat can be really thin, you guys. So there's, we already have most of a roof down here. You just need enough to cover up the polyester. So I was a little thin. I'm gonna add a little bit more. And then I'll smooth this all out so water can pass over. So this is a field repair for wrinkles, both tight wrinkles and wrinkles that are raised up and have some air underneath them. This is done, and this can be done. In my opinion, it's avoidable. You should try at all costs to avoid this. The 800 elastic cement is a more expensive product, a more time-consuming product. So I've been with you for a couple of minutes here fixing this field repair. What should have been a couple of seconds during the ply stage has turned into a few minutes in the repair stage. So we want to try and avoid that wherever possible. But when they happen, this is how you go about fixing them. So here we have a situation where the broom didn't go across the sheet, and this is what will happen. The broom has to hit every inch of the sheet as you're applying this product, and where it misses, what ends up happening is that sheet doesn't get embedded into the emulsion, and it ends up after it dries being loose. And here you can see this whole area that was missed by the broomer is loose. We're going to repair this using 800 elastic cement, and because it's so big, I'm going to have to make a cut in it. Now if this was smaller, I might be able to just lift the sheet up, put some mastic underneath, brush it down and be okay. Because of the size of this one, I'm going to go ahead and put a relief cut in so I can get product underneath so we can get full adhesion. Here, I'm going to make a little relief cut, open it up, and then on the other side, I'll make another relief cut and open this all up so I can access it. Now you can see all this emulsion dried underneath. I got a little chunky right here. I'm gonna take this out. Use my 14-inch black PVC glove. Reach into the 800 elastic cement, and I'm gonna fill underneath here with the mastic. And you can see how fast this spreads using the glove. We recommend using these gloves not only for safety, but just for speed of application. Dipping in with the chip brush repeatedly just takes too long. You can't get enough product on the brush. So we use this glove, get a nice bead of mastic, approximately about an 1/8 inch thick. Underneath all the sheets is generally our base. I'm gonna put this sheet down, get it in nice and flat. Get all the wrinkles out. Now because I had to make a cut in the sheet, I gotta seal this cut up now. So let's put a little additional mastic along this cut I made, and then some more mastic around this cut I made. Take the smaller roll of polyester, and I'm gonna seal my cut. I'll do that on the other one as well. Now, as a standard rule, anywhere that you have to cut the sheet, that sheet needs to be 3-coursed. If you don't have to cut it, if I was able to just put a little mastic underneath, then that would be sufficient. But because I made a cut in the sheet, I'm going to use the 3-course technique to seal that cut. And that holds true pretty much throughout the roof. So now I have everything in place. I'll put a little top coat of mastic over my patches, one over this seam right here. And I'm using the glove to do all this spreading. It just goes faster. Like I said, not only for safety, but for just speed of application. So I'm pretty messy, making sure all my air's out of the sheet. Covering my polyester. And now to finish, I'll use the chip brush to smooth it all out. Also helps to push out any air. And now water can flow across this nice and smooth. I don't want to leave any dams where water might get built up behind it. And I'll use the chip brush to seal all my cuts, all my edges. There's a finished repair of a loose lap big enough that I felt putting a cut in it was warranted. This is ready for the 720 elastic coating at this point now. So this is a done deal. This all could have been avoided. And you see how much time it took had we just pulled the broom across here the first time. Very important as you're doing the initial application to do quality control as you're going. And the cost of the mastic coupled with the amount of labor it takes to fix it, you're better off doing it right the first time. Drag the broom across every inch of the sheet. All right, still working on field repairs out on this roof. Came across one, just a small little loose lap. Significantly smaller than the bigger one that we actually had to put a relief cut in, but this still needs to be repaired. So something little like this, I'm just going to take a little bead of our 800 elastic cement, get it underneath, push it down, and then just a little bit of a top coat to help hold it in place. Now this is sealed in nice and tight. One thing you can do, so all of these repairs, this is common to every roof. You're always going to have a couple of laps that are loose. What you can do in order of production to help alleviate some of these is when you're coming through with your first coat of 720 acrylic, do that first before you do these field repairs. Number one, it's going to make these imperfections jump out at you. They're going to be little black spots on the roof that'll catch your eye. And number two, if you're spraying correctly and spraying into the laps, spraying into where there might be some loose ones, the pressure from that gun and the acrylic may actually go and fill these in for you and seal some of them up for you. Now you'll still have a few that are going to be out there after that first ply goes down, but pretty handy if you put your emulsion ply in. Put your first coat of acrylic on that roof, turns the roof white. It's a little nicer. I'm down here on my hands and knees. It cools the roof down a little bit, but where it really helps is it makes those imperfections jump out at you where you can see them. So when you do come across little loose laps like this, a little bit of 800 elastic cement underneath them, a little bit on top just to seal it, and now we'll put a coat of paint over this and it'll be a really nice long time. Hey guys, still continuing to get this roof ready for the acrylic top coat. The emulsion has been applied through this whole area, and now we got a curb that we flashed up. We tend to teach just stop and short, so in most instances these aren't going to be craned up and lifted out of the way. There's generally a counter flashing on a pan. What we want to do is bring our flashing up usually about like right here, 3/4 of an inch to an inch. We don't want to bring the flashing up so tight that we can't get a bead of mastic on top of it. It's better for if we stop a little short like this is, and that way we can use our 800 elastic cement to seal all our terminations. And this is going to hold true on skylights, AC curbs, any vertical that you have throughout the roof is going to use the 800 elastic cement to seal the termination point. On occasion, going up a wall, we may actually use a 3-course and introduce a 6-inch roll of polyester to strengthen that even more. But out here in the field, when we're on a vertical like this, a bead of mastic is good enough. So I'm going to take my chip brush and I want to seal the top of this sheet with a bead of mastic. Back here, the sheet was a little bit lower, but I'm going to go ahead and take my mastic up to the metal, seal that all real nice. About an 1/8 inch bead. That's what you're looking for across here. What we don't want, don't be afraid to go back for more product. What I don't want is to try and stretch. We're not painting this. We're building our termination. I don't want to stretch this so thin that you can see the black through there. If you don't have enough product to keep it at about 1/8 inch, then go back to your bucket, get a little more product, and put an actual nice thick bead of mastic across the top. While I was over here, I saw that there's a little corner sticking up. I'm already here. I already got the mastic here. I want to go ahead and repair this right now. Put a little under there, flatten it out. I'll round this corner. So real important, guys, I've put my my 800 elastic cement across the top of this, got my termination. The reason we do this, so this particular roof is gonna have a 10-year warranty to start. We don't want to depend on the emulsion and the flashing detail to hold up for the whole 10 years. It's important that we seal everything in, especially around the perimeter, so, you know, as wear and tear and sun and everything, wind blows through here, it doesn't loosen up our sheet. This bead of mastic across the top here is gonna help seal everything in real nice and tight. And while this is a 10-year warranty to start, what we're really shooting for is a fully sustainable roof system. That's what we're trying to build. And ideally, this roof in 10 years will come up, it'll get washed, and then we'll do an inspection. But hopefully, if we've done a good job with all of this detail work, there is no more mastic work to do. We wash it, we paint it, and your customer's gonna get another 10 years of warranty. After that, we wash it, we paint it, we give you another 10 years of warranty. That's the goal, and it's really important that you do a good job on these details so this roof lasts not only for the life of this warranty, but for the warranties beyond. So here we're gonna talk about our wall termination. On this particular roof, the old cap sheet used to run all the way to the edge of the wall. And in that situation, we weren't able to get a proper termination, given how close it was to the edge. We weren't able to turn it down to the outside. We always want to go a minimum of 2 inches past the old membrane. And with this particular roof, we actually had to cut the old membrane back in order to get that 2 inches. So if you look here, you can see the block wall, followed by the old roofing membrane, and then right here is where our 298 emulsion wall flashing ends. So what I want to do is put about a 7-inch bead of our 800 elastic cement, go beyond the 2 terminations here, attach directly onto the building, and then lap onto our wall flashing by another, 2-3 inches, whatever we can get. And that'll seal this up really nice. So again, remember, this is it. This is where our roof ends. Getting a good seal here is paramount. On this particular one, we're actually gonna embed a 6-inch polyester roll in, make a much longer lasting membrane. So we're gonna get started on that. So this is a decent sized roof. Probably got 1,200 linear feet of wall that we have to do. Anywhere that you could save time, try to save that time. So we generally work in 2-man teams. If you can see, Tim's already started spreading some of the mastic, and now that he's got a good head start, you got time. So even on a hot day, you got time. This isn't gonna dry out right away. You got a few minutes before you have to embed it. So now he's got a good head start on me. I'm gonna take my 6-inch roll, and I'm gonna start setting that sheet and rolling this out. So now I'm at a point where I've caught up with the man in front of me spreading the mastic. I'm not gonna cut my sheet here. I'm gonna put a little bit of slack, and I can even just set it on the deck so I'm not worried about falling off the roof. Now it stays here. Production, that's what we're trying to accomplish. If you cut it, now you gotta make a lap. Now it's gonna take more time. Just back roll a little bit, leave a little bit of slack. We got 600 feet to go. There's lots of time. So we're gonna be doing this for a while. I'm gonna find my chip brush. Now my partner's gonna come back. He's got the glove on. He's got the lion's share of the mastic in his hand. And I am simply going to polish this up now. So he's going to give me a little thin bead across the top. You see how fast it goes with the glove. So the amount of mastic that you could spread using that black glove blows what you can get on a chip brush out of the water. So if you care about production, you care about saving money on labor and getting the roof done faster, this is what we recommend for application technique. Two-man crew, one guy working with the mastic and the glove, the second guy handles the roll and the chip brush, and all I'm doing now is brushing this in real nice, making it nice and smooth, taking out any wrinkles, taking out any air pockets, and I'm going to follow him down the line. So now you can see, working in a two-man crew, how quick it is. We did 30 feet of this wall in really not much time at all. And we would just keep going and finish this roof off. So the 800 elastic cement coupled with the cut rolls of polyester, you're gonna see where we use those all over the roof, sealing up pipes, doing scuppers and drains. Anywhere that area is more critical, we're gonna use like the top of a wall where you could have wind blowing on this day after day. Those are a little more critical areas, and in those spots, we're gonna go ahead and build a membrane out of the 800 elastic cement with polyester to seal it in a little bit stronger. So this roof has a 10-year warranty on it, or will when it's complete, and the intention of the work that we do right now is to avoid having to redo it in the future. So with an acrylic top coat on here protecting it from the sun, this could very easily be a 30, 40, 50-year wall detail that we don't have to do any repairs on. So that's the hope anyway. So as we were going about 3/4 on the top of our wall, came across, this is pretty common as well, you guys. So everything's real nice and tight through here. Sealed real good, but right here, right at the cant area, there's a little bit of bridging. You can see the air. That's a weak spot on the roof. So while you're doing the wall flashing, it's important to make sure your broom gets tight, especially right at this cant area. There's two transitions right here at the top of the cant strip and again at the bottom. And that sheet has to transition through both of those angles. Pushing your broom in there and then dropping back. You know, after you do 50, 60 feet, drop back and check it out. While it's still wet, a lot of times you can take your broom and push that in and seal that up, and this wouldn't exist. But we missed it, it's here. So I just want to go about the repair for this. I want to get this air out of here. Air under our sheet is bad for us. It gives us a weak spot. And it might not be a problem today or even year 1 or year 2, but long term, this is an area that could get worn away and potentially present a leak problem. So all I'm gonna do, put a relief cut. So now you can see this isn't attached. So now that I have it opened all up, I feel pretty good. It starts to be tight right here again, and it's tight on the other side. So this is about the area that needs to be addressed. Now that I have it opened all up and filleted open, I'm gonna put some mastic underneath just to give it something to stick to on the bottom side. And then I'm gonna top coat it as well. And again, just like everywhere else on the roof, anytime that we put a slice in the membrane, like I had to do here, we're gonna go ahead and use a 3-course, using our 800 elastic cement and our polyester to make a 3-course membrane over top of any cuts that we make in the membrane that we just put on. So now I've got the mastic underneath. The loose sheet is now tight. I've pushed it tight up against the wall, pushed out all the wrinkles, pushed out all the air, and now the last step would be to do my 3/4 over top of the cut that I made. So I got the mastic down below. The first coat of mastic on the underside of the polyester should be about an eighth of an inch thick. Most of the process that we do with Western Colloid, we put the lion's share of the product underneath the sheet. We set the sheet into it, and then a smaller amount is generally put on top. That's just kind of a standard. So I'm gonna put about an 1/8 inch underneath the sheet, and then I'll put the polyester in, and then I'll put about a 1/16 inch on top. So it helps it dry a little quicker, gets the skin on it faster, and with what we have underneath there, that should be plenty. Gonna go back to my glove, get all the wrinkles and the air out of this ply now. Smooth it all out real nice and tight. And as you're going, you can kind of hear the air pop, and you can hear the air coming out of the sheet. So I feel like everything's nice and tight now. Now I'm just gonna put a little bit of product on top to help make the brushing easier. So that's a field repair for some bridging right at the cant area. You'll get this occasionally at skylights as well. You'll get it at various points on a roof where you're asking to go through a transition. And very common, it's avoidable. If you drop back and do some quality control, you have a lot of time while you're putting the emulsion down. I highly recommend dropping a guy back every once in a while, take a look at what you did. If there's any of these kinds of voids that exist while the emulsion's still wet, a lot of times you can handle it right then. It's less expensive and less time consuming to handle it then. But if you miss a spot and you're doing your inspections prior to the top coat going on and you find something like this is how you go about repairing it. Really important, take all the air out from underneath the sheet. We want everything nice and tight to the walls and the deck as we're going about the installation.